Now, on the global front, as far as India is concerned, on the global front, India and Canada both are facing one kind of tussle. That is what diplomatic tussle. Okay, this diplomatic tussle indicates the rising stature of India. How for the first time out of the OECD developed nation, the Canada is one of the G7, originally G7 and OECD member and a highly developed nation. Such a great OECD and G7 nation now is experiencing the heat of the rising India. The rising India. You know, on the global, immediately after the G20, this successful hosting of the G20 summit in Delhi, the India is faced this diplomatic tussle from the Canada. On September 22, the Canadian President Justin Trudeau is alleged in India that the recent murder of a terrorist, a designated Sikh terrorist, Hardeep Singh Nijjar. Okay, India has the blood on its hands. This is what the allegation from the Justin directly from the Canadian Prime Minister itself. Okay, the India in response to that one, it is set aside and it is responded that this is completely observed and motivated, politically motivated, whatever that motivated. So India rejected. But here the important, what we have observed as far as this diplomatic tussle between the Canada and India, what we have to observe, the Five Eyes. What is the response from the other developed nations? Because the United States of America, New Zealand, Australia, UK, and these countries are the members of the Five Eyes, very closely intelligent accord between these nations. These nations not supported this Canada. Of course, they responded. Okay, they expressed their concern, but they rejected to criticize India. Okay, in this context, amidst this diplomatic tussle between the Canada and India, this Pentagon, this former defense chief, okay, Michael Rubin, he delivered a greatest statement which indicated that the rising stature of the India on the global front. What he said? He said that if United States of America was asked to choose out of the Canada and India, US would prefer to India rather than Canada. This is what it's a highly interesting statement. Why interesting? Because Canada is a part of this NAFTA and Five Eyes, very neighborhood and very important group. In such a conditions, US should have supported Canada rather than India. But now US is tilting toward India. But he further told that in the present global geopolitical situation, especially in the context of the rising China this Chinese maneuverability in Asia Pacific and the entire global area, because of the global changing the dynamics of the global order because of the rising China, this India is much more important, prominent country as far as the US diplomatic global order is concerned. This is the greatest statement. That is why this now, after the all developed countries, okay, almost they are maintaining neutrality as far as this India-Canada tussle is concerned. That's why Canada retreated from its earlier tough stand from the September 22 onwards. This Justin Trudeau now is expressing that India is very important country and we don't want to negate this India-Russia, India-Canada relations because of this one. So he retreated. Now we can see it is almost palpable that he is retreat. So in this context, we can analyze that India is rising on the global structure, on the global front. So now this Canada, we can say that this Canada is the first developed country, first great country which experiences the India's rising hot pursuit diplomatic policy. Okay, and another important thing, as far as this Justin Trudeau statement allegations, what is the allegation? This India's research and analysis wing, that is India's spying wing, it had it might have a hand in the killing, assassination of Hardeep Singh Nijjar in Canada, on Canadian soil. If it is true, what will it indicate? Of course, Canada may not prove. Other organization may not prove. If any spying agencies are involved, for example, Pentagon, FBI, CIA, Mossad, and various Russian KGB, etc. If such an organizations, spying organizations of various countries involved in assassination, no country can prove it. For example, recently Iran has killed this nuclear scientist of this Israel, KGB, Israel Mossad group, assassinated the one of the greatest atomic scientist of this nuclear scientist of the Iran. But nobody can prove it. Nobody can prove. Nobody can go on war on this front. If India involves, Canada cannot prove. But that is the different case. But the case, what is the interesting thing is, if India involved in such a killing of assassination of various anti-Indian groups on the foreign soil, that is the most important thing as far as if India involves, the India's changing attitude. What is attitude? Hot pursuit. During the Indira period, we had an experience of India's hot pursuit. Now Modi government, if it is preferred to killing of such anti-Indian elements, the terrorists on the foreign soils, okay, that indicates that India's different turn, a paradigm shift in its foreign policy. That is what preemptive policies. So in this context, we have to remember one thing. This year itself, during the May month, there was a tussle. There was a diplomatic tussle between the China and Canada related to an expulsion and reciprocal countermeasures, etc. But during this China-Canada tussle, compared to India-Canada tussle, developed countries, almost supported, completely, clearly supported Canada. But in the context of in the present this Canada-India tussle, during this tussle, developed countries either maintain neutrality or else they didn't talk anything. Of course, that is the greatest indication that it indicates that, it corroborates that without irrefutably that India's rising stature on the global front. Why they are maintaining neutrality, why they are preferring to India rather than their own peer, their close ally. That is what most important. We can elucidate that India is the perfect countermeasure to Chinese rise. That is the foremost important. That is why India's support is very, very important for even the global super majors like United States of America. Otherwise, they can't win over the China as far as this Asia Pacific region is concerned. Not only in that one, apart from this Asia Pacific region, even on the global front. Because India, on economical front, India is the fastest growing economy. Already it becomes the fifth largest economy. It is going to become the third largest economy by 2027. And the second largest economy, even surpassing the United States of America by 2047. Even in 2022-23, India contributes around 16% of the global growth process. This is far higher than the China. This is unprecedented. So this trade is also growing by leaps and bounds. So India is maintaining trade relations with almost all countries. It has the largest populous country. Now demographic dividend, around 30% of the youth force is there in India. So this labor force is also almost important. And India is the largest democratic country. This democratic credibility is much more important than China. So this is what India is a credible country. That's why India's rising is very important for the foreign countries. That is what OECD nations, not only global south, as Modi is emphasizing on the global south during the G20 nations. So in this context, these developed countries they are keen to maintain a good relationship with India. That's what we can see. We can see during the G20 summit. Almost all developed countries, heads of the states and governments, heads of the government came and landed India. And most important thing is they supported India. Why they supported? Their support is more important because in order to conduct the global G20 summit, this other most important countries like Russian President Putin, Vladimir Putin, and Chinese President Xi Jinping skipped to this meeting. Even though this G20 meeting is unprecedented in the recent years. Why? Because there is a consensus joint communique. Even Russia, China were forced to accept this joint consensus. That is what. So India within one day only, not only even not a, without entering in the second day itself, this India's G20 host in G20 summit got a big boost, big win. That is what the greatest successful hostingness of the India. So it is because of this rising stature of India. India is very important. India's words are more weightage there, and its credible democracy and its non-aligned now, all alignment policy. It has close relationship with, on one hand with Russia and China, on the other hand with almost all developed countries. It is the part of Shanghai Five, it is the part of BRICS on the one hand, it is the part of the Quad, and it has the diplomatic and strategic relations with even developed countries, almost all developed countries. This all alignment policy gave a great fruits to India. So now, whatever that one, in sum up, as far as this China, this Canada, India diplomatic tussle is concerned, it is a big boost. It exposes India's rising stature on global front. Now everybody is looking at India as an alternative to China, even the diplomatic, geopolitical front, economical front, political front, etc., etc. So this is what important. But as far as this Canada and Indian tussle is concerned, it is not good either for the India or for the Canada. So how to solve it? Because this is mostly related to our Sikh population in Canada. In Canada, most of our Canada is the second largest Sikh population next to India. It is hosting around 8 lakh Sikh population, 8 lakh Sikh people are there. It is around 2.5% of the Canada's total population. Most of the Indian Sikhs are there in the British Columbia, Vancouver, Alberta, this Manitoba, and also Quebec provinces, even the Yukon provinces also. How these Sikhs are there is around 15,000 kilometers away from this India. Sikhs are, this is the warrior race, almost it is so-called warrior race in India, Sikh regiment, Rajputana rifle, etc., etc. Even centuries back, around 1.5 century back, our Sikh population is spread, fanned across the globe. So another uniqueness of the Sikh migrants, Sikh NRIs or PIOs is concerned, they are moving, they are migrated to the far-off places like Latin America, Argentina, even Central America, even Canada, Polar region, African continent, etc., etc. As far as Canada is concerned, this Sikh population is mostly living in mining and timber industry. This is most important. Now this is 2.5% of the population. Another important surprise is Canada, now the present Trudeau cabinet has the more Sikh MPs compared to Indian cabinet. This is what is surprising. So the rising Sikh cloud, political cloud in Canada forced this Trudeau just before the election to talk on behalf of this one. This is mostly vote bank politics in Canada, like we can see in India like this. So, however, this become this failure on part of this Trudeau as far as to gaining this vote. So every developed country didn't support. But however, this Canada-Indian relations are very important because this Canada in terms of investment, in terms of Indian students studies in Canada, and this developed part of these developed nations, this Canada support is also as a part of G7 nation, as a part of this NAFTA, as a part of this G20 summit. This Canada is very important for India. Even this Canada, for the Canada also, India is more important because this rising power. Okay, and China, it is getting heat from China also. So India's support is much more important compared to this Canada support to India. So in this context, these both countries should negotiate, to discuss, not in public. Okay, diplomatically it should solve. So as far as early as possible, both countries, I hope that will solve this. Of course, they both are going heading towards resolving this issue is concerned. But this is the question, this is the time it exposed, this tussle between Canada and India exposed India's rising stature on global front.